Hi there everybody, my name is Ali and today we will going to do format from HackTheBox, which is a medium based Linux machine, and that is not too easy. So we will start with the very basic enumeration, then we will be having a source code. We will review the source code, we will try to find out local file inclusion, then we will try to find out file upload and those sort of things. We will become a pro user, we will upload a reverse shell and we will get a reverse shell onto the box. So now coming to the privilege escalation part, as the name of the machine is format, so there is a Python format string vulnerability. We will exploit that to become root. So that being said, let's jump in. I already have started my machine and my IP address is 10.10.11.213. So I will start off with the nmap scan, nmap-a for aggressive scan, -v for verbosity, and then the IP address of the target, which is 10.10.11.213. This can take some time to run, so I already have ran it. Looking at the results, we are having only 3 ports open. First port is 22, which is SSH, and it tells us open SSH 8.4 P1. This is quite updated, so I cannot try to find out exploits of this one, but I can try if I'm going into a rabbit hole somewhere else. Then there is port 80, which is HTTP Nginx 1.18.0, and the server header is Nginx 1.18.0. Supported methods are get and head. So this is strange that there are no post method available. So we will see if there is or not onto the website. There is no title over here on the port 80. Then on 3000 we are having Nginx 1.18.0, and right now here we are having posts and options. So this is a strange, and this is redirecting me to microblog.htb. So the first thing first, whenever I see a domain name, I always add this into my host file. So I will do this thing and then I will jump over to the website on to see both of the web servers running on 80 and 3000. So I will do sublime etc host, and I will add right over here the IP 10.10.11.213, I believe it was. Okay, so save, and let's come back over here to the website and let's see what is running on this one. So I will paste the IP, hit enter, and now this is port 80. I will also try to open port 3000 as well. So right over here I can see it says server not found. We are having trouble finding that site because it is redirecting me to another subdomain, which is app.microblog.htb. Now when we are doing medium level machines, what we can try to do is we need to do very hard enumeration. Now I can see there is app.microblog.htb. So I'll first of all add this into my host file as well, and I will again do subdomain enumeration as well. So that is the most important part over here. So save this one. Now let's come back to the browser, refresh the page, and it should load now, and it says microblog, and I can see Webalizer as well to see the technologies, Nginx 1.18.0, jQuery, font awesome, nothing interesting. Then there is a login page as well, so I can click on this login page and we have a username and a password field. Then on port 3000 we are having again a page, microblog, a painless self-hosted git service. So I think so. Let's see what sort of git service it is. We cannot see anything. Webalizer is giving me a lot of different things: programming language Go, development git T. And now I will be going to show you this machine in such a way that I have no idea what I'm going after, and I actually don't know. So let's see how to do enumeration, how to solve a machine, as we are completely beginners. So coming back down here, I'm having some sort of license.txt. Let's see what is in this one. So there might be some sort of version which I can try to find out, but this is normally a license. Let's come back and let's try to find out the API, and it is going to API Swagger, and again I think so nothing is interesting. Oh, there is something. So I think so there are some API calls going on here. Admin cron, so list cron task. If I click on this one, and nothing really happens. I cannot add anything into this one. So API forbidden, and there are a lot of ones. So API username. So these might be the API endpoints, which is the Swagger list over here. So that is fine as well. Now coming to the main side, I can try default credentials like admin. So this will be my methodology whenever I will going to solve any machine. So it says message is equal to login failed, status is equal to failed, admin password doesn't work, admin microblog, and doesn't work. So I can try microblog again. So if I can copy this somehow, copy, paste, login. Sometimes it is possible that we gather the different keywords or words from the whole page which we are seeing over here. We can make a word list and we can try to brute force these over here. So that's what I was actually doing. There is a tool which is specifically made for this thing that is called Qul, and that does that thing. So it will try to find out different keywords from the site that like login, register, microblog, brain, vectors, by these sort of keywords from the site, and it will try to make a word list. So that is also highly useful. Now SQL injection, single quote, login failed, double quotes, login failed. So single quote or 1 is equal to 1, then a hash sign. These are basic MySQL payloads we can try to get from Google as well. So then I will do minus space minus, and doesn't work. So SQL injection also not working. We cannot try default credentials. So let's try to register then, because let's see what happens when we register. So if I do test, so register now. Now when I'm doing bug bounties, normally I don't register like this. I normally register with h2 in the beginning of the name, so I can actually try to go for cross-site scripting as well. So when I register directly, it says hello test. So you can see right here it is saying hello test. So if I have registered with the username angle bracket h2, which is heading 2 in HTML, and if I can see test in my heading 2 over here, that is a cross-site scripting. So that's why I normally do that in my bug bounties. So right here I can do that over here as well, but right now in these machines, cross-site scripting can help us when we are having different sort of messages like admin will review your form, or admin will do something to your text which you have registered, or those sort of things. So then I'll try those situations. So that's depends upon your situation and what you are trying to do. Now this is a dashboard, and we can try to make our, I think so, a new domain or subdomain. So if I say test create, it says site edit successfully, and we are having a test subdomain, I believe. So visit site or edit site. So if I click on visit site, normally that is not added into my host file, so normally it will not work. So I need to add that. Yes, exactly. So I'll copy this thing from here. Let's open my host file again, and let's do this. Save. Now if I visit this site again, it says blog is in progress, check back soon, and we can try to edit it here as well. Now I will be going to show you this thing from 2 to 3 methods, so we can see how it goes on. One of them would be like source code review, we will see in just a few minutes, and the other one will be random thing. So the random thing is much more efficient, because normally when we are doing bug bounties and real world things, which is black box testing, so we normally don't have the source code or those sort of things of the site. So normally we should try both of the things. So right now I can see it says h1 and it says txt. I don't know exactly what these are. This is header, I believe. So I will say test and post. Oh, I can see test over here. Again, I can try here for cross-site scripting as well. So if I do h2 and if I say test, let's click on post. There you go. You can see my test is in heading 2. So we have a cross-site scripting vulnerability right over here. So if I do script, then alert, and in alert, if I do hacked and close the script tag, and I should have posted it, but that's strange. When I hit enter, it visited this endpoint and I cannot see anything. And when I come back, it says 404 not found. So I am guessing that my domain has been deleted, and I think so only 1 minute or 2 minutes has been passed. So that is a problem from my side. So if I do app.microblog.htb, if I go to login, username is test, password is test, and it says login failed. So that is a problem from my side. I need to be fast whatever I'm doing. So test, and I got logged in. Let's make a site test. So visit or edit, I think so that was edit h1. Now I will paste the payload again. Thank god I got just copied this payload. I always do that whenever I write this payload. I always copy it, so that if something has been done wrong, I should just paste it. So post, and there you go, we have a cross-site scripting vulnerability over here. Now what we can do with cross-site scripting is we can try to get the cookies of an admin of this site. So this can be first thing in my mind when I was solving this machine, but the thing is that I'm not having any message that hey, your form or your text will be reviewed by an administrator or those sort of things. But still I can do that. I can put the thing right over here, and I can start my own server, or I can do a lot of things over here. But I will not do right that thing over here because there is no clear indication telling me that you should do this. So the other thing which I can do is I can do text test here and test here, and see the request in my Burpsuite, like how it is going in the backend. So if I switch to my Foxy Proxy Burpsuite, and if I go to my target, let me add my scope. I normally use add advanced scope, and I normally do only the name. So I will say microblog. That's all. This works best for me. Yes. And if I go to re-enable, I will say show only in scope items, and then I will go to my proxy HTTP history, show only in scope items, and I will refresh the page. Done, and here it is. So this is how the page refresh is going on. Let's add something random into the header and click on post. Done. And let's add into txt section and click on post. And again I'm having an alert again and again because not only that will do it. So I can delete that one, so I should not see alert. So but I cannot say okay, it is right over here. Delete this one as well and delete it. Now I will not see my alert again and again. Okay, so my post request to this endpoint was this one, not this one. I still cannot see that request where my test was going on. I think so it is right, this one. So id is equal to this, and text is test, and action is equal to delete, not this one. Action is equal to delete. So post id is equal to this, and header. So I think so there is a txt parameter, and then there is a header parameter, but there is an id parameter also going on. So we can try to play with this one. Now whenever we're trying to play these sort of things, what we can try to do is we can try to do command injection, we can try to do local file inclusion, we can try to do SQL injection, and these sort of things. So I will first of all try out with command injection. So if I do semicolon who am I and send, it says field found. I cannot see the response. I think so I need to do follow redirection. What I like to do is I like to go to repeater, follow redirection, and I just click on always. So when I will click send, it will automatically follow the redirection. And let's see what we got right over here. In my settings, I also like to burp browser, and I allow burp to run without a sandbox because I'm running this as root. So I need to do this one, send again, so I can see the graphical view as well. So in my graphical view right now, I'm just having test. My command injection might not be working. That is fine. I can try to do blind injection, like pinging my own server 10 10 14 39. I can see right at the top. So there is a space, so I can do plus here to URL encode that space. Come back to my terminal. I'll start TCP dump -I for interface tunnel 0, and I will say I want to capture only ICMP packets which are only ping requests. So if I click on send, let's come back. I cannot see anything right over here as well, so that is fine. Now the next thing which I can do is, or let me increase the size of my Burpsuite as well, if I can do that quickly. Let me see. So that is normally in user interface, I believe, display and font size to, let's say, 16, and let's wait. Now the font size has been not been increased right over here. It has increased my other thing. So let me see how I can increase my font size. So settings, let's come back to my proxy and display, and I cannot see anything right over here. Okay, so I will figure this out hopefully in the next videos to how to increase the repeater font size. So if I go to my repeater tab, I cannot see it right over here as well. Okay, so that's fine. Let's move on. So now blind injection also not working. I can try to do local file inclusion, that might work. So etc password send, and again nothing interesting. Oh, I think so. Oh, there it is. So we are having local file inclusion. Let's see where it was in my. Oh, here it is. So it is not in a good format, but when I render this functionality, I can see we are having local file inclusion. Let's try to see this response in browser, and let's see what sort of users are over here. So paste, and right over here, if I view the page source, that will be much more beautiful for you, I think so, if it is. But on the page source, I cannot see anything. So that's normally right over here where I can see. Okay, so normally the IDs of the users are starting from 1000. So if I control F, do 1000, and here it is, and that is Cooper. So I have a username enumeration, and that is Cooper, and there is something sort of Redis. So Redis is installed, I believe. I don't know, but I'm just guessing a few things. So whenever we are having a local file inclusion vulnerability, I try to access different things. Now this is a hard thing to actually go on with, because you never know what you can find out. So what you can do is you can try to fuzz here using ffuff. So what I will try to do now is, let's try to fuzz this thing, or let's try to use intruder, but this intruder is right now will be very slow. So let's see what we can do. Let's try first of all manually. If I will not found anything, I will do some automation. And the other thing which I do is normally seeing the web server files, so some source codes or PHP filters or those sort of things. So right now I know this is Nginx. So what I can do is I can try to read the Nginx configuration file. So if I do etc, I think so that is Nginx, and then it is slash sites dash enabled dash default send, and I think so, yes, at the bottom I can see. If I show response in browser, let's come back over here, and I am having the response, but normally this is not a much more beautiful response. So right now we will see this here as well. So I will copy this and add this into my notes, and I can do one more thing, that I can use my ChatGPT, and I can say that I need to actually make this in a beautiful format so I can read. So I will do that thing as well right now. So I am having ChatGPT right over here. So what I can do is I can try to paste that all thing here, and I will say make it beautiful. That's all. So in this way, I utilize ChatGPT a lot to make my thing much more easy. So now ChatGPT will make this thing much more beautiful in front of me, so I can analyze this now. So let me copy this all, and if I paste this thing into my this editor, that will be way more beautiful. So right now the server is listing on port 80 default server, then the root directory is www.html, then index.html, these all files are there. Location is this thing, that is fine. This is for 404 error, server listing on 80, location 404, and then there are some rules, which is location is equal to static css health, static js health, and then we are having static dot static and dot static. And if we now try to figure out that what this thing is, that what sort of this thing is going on, so first parameter should be dot static and the second parameter should be dot static. So what does this mean? So now we can try to find out. So the very easy and basic thing we can try to Google is, we can try to say, hey, do we have any Nginx misconfigurations? Because this can be a misconfiguration, I have exactly no idea, but I will try to do this thing on Google, so whether this is a misconfiguration or no. So I can use keywords like proxy pass, misconfiguration, and those sort of things. So let's move on to, let's say, Nginx proxy path, which I have copied. I will say misconfiguration, and right now I can see Nginx hack. So I will open this thing as well. Then there is, I believe I showed you a site called exploit notes. I will now do a lot of Google search against this. So I will say exploit notes. Let's see what does Hectrix says on proxy path. I will try to control F over here and I will try to find out whether there is something like dot static. But if I go to exploit notes, and in my exploit notes, if I search for Nginx, or let's see if I have search functionality for, let's say, proxy underscore path, it is not showing. So if I say Nginx, nothing. So if I search here something with that thing, so if I do control F dot static, and nothing found. So right now let's see what we can try to do. Now I will again try to go to my site and I will try to enumerate this site more. So what I can try to do is, first of all, dirsearch and other things. So let's come back, and if I try to do fuf or dirsearch, let's do dirsearch so it will be much fast. I normally do fuf because fuf is way more fast than these all. So it will be normally http://app.microblog.htb, and I will use its own default word list, and let's see what it finds out. And I will also try to do fuzzing on the port 3000 as well, which is dirsearch, and that will be http://microblog.htb:3000 -u in the u for the URL, and looking fine. So hit enter. Let's see both of the scans work good, or there will be some sort of slow scan. Yeah, both of them are going fine. So let's come back and let's try to see whether this site is gone or it is still there. Oh, it is still there. So I don't know what happened the first time. So we are having only two functionalities right over here. So if I try to delete the edit page, let's see what we have. Blog in progress. So let's go to the main page. So in this way, the enumeration can be way more hard. So microblog.htb is not loading. Oh, we do have some endpoints right over here as well, but my microblog is not loading at all. Let's see if I have added this into my host file. Microblog.htb is there. So let's visit this site then. So if I do paste and okay, the first one is redirecting me to this site. And what was on 3000? Let's see. So again, I'm coming back to enumeration because I have not found anything. Explore, there is some explore button, and we do have repos, and it's just like GitHub. So it says Cooper microblog. So this is the username which I have found through local file inclusion. We have the source code 11 months ago created by Cooper, again the same username. So HTML microblog. So let's see what is in HTML. Index.html. I am not interested in that normally. Then we are having microblog, apps, and Sunny. So Sunny content, edit images. Let's come back and let's try to find out what is template, microbucket, JS, CSS, not interesting. Profiles, bulletproof.php. This is a PHP file. Let's see what it is showing me. Nothing really interesting. There are a lot of functions in this one. All of these are function. So let's come back and let's see microblog again, app and Sunny. I think so app and Sunny might be the domain names because there is app.microblog, so that might be the domain. Yeah, exactly. So dashboard, login, logout. So we have the source code right over here of the site which we are using. So let's see the dashboard, index.php. Nothing interesting. Login, index.php. All of these are default main pages. Then there are some images, logout. So let's see what is in the Sunny. Sunny is having the edit page, so that is strange. All of these are having index.php. So let's see what is in the index.php. Username is equal to session username. Then it is setting cookie. Check user owns blog, and it is connecting to Redis. So definitely there is a Redis sort of a database that you can say it as a database which is consisting of a lot of things in the backend. So this is normally the path of the Redis socket. So this can be interesting because if somehow I am able to connect to the Redis socket, what I can try to do is I can try to read different files. I can try to read, sorry, I cannot read different files. I can try to read the databases and all of the information in the Redis dictionary. So then we are having provision pro user, and then there are some parameters like action and ID. So these all are the ones which I was doing. So action was delete and the ID was in when I was deleting the post. And then right here I'm having deletion, then I'm having header. So header and ID in the, so the ID parameter is actually vulnerable to local file inclusion because I noticed that ID is open, and the reason is that it is getting ID parameter from here, then it is not sanitizing that ID parameter, and the ID parameter is directly going over here into fopen, and fopen actually opens the file. So this can be in my mind as a beginner. So then it is writing something and then closing. So my idea would be like if it is writing something into normally $HTML, and $HTML is normally this thing. So the header part here is where I will give the full file path, but I'm not having any sort of upload functionality or those things. I need to see this all. Then I'm having adding a text, so there is a txt, and then I'm having an add an image. So I am not having any sort of image thing over here. I can see only h1 which is header and txt. So where is image? That is strange. So if I click on, let's visit the test domain again. So if I do /test, nothing here. Edit it here, nothing. Dashboard. So on dashboard I can see Wanna Grow Pro upload images for only $5 a month. So I am guessing here now I need to somehow bypass this thing. I don't want to pay $5, and I need to get pro user and upload a file and get a reverse shell. Now this will be in my mind because I can see there is a file upload functionality where image is going on with the ID parameter, and then it says pro subscription required or pro okay, so let's see how can I become a pro. So there is a function is pro if is session username Redis, new object of Redis is going to be created, then it is connecting to the socket, and then it is getting an attribute of pro, and if pro returns true, it will be, I think so, professional user. If pro returns false, it will be a 1. So now normally I think so I have registered as test user, so that will be a pro feature will be set to false in the Redis socket. But the problem is how I can connect to Redis, or I can do h set, which is a hash set feature. So I can set this username attribute of test which I have created, and I will say pro is equal to true. So that will be coming into my mind at how I can do this all thing. Now again, there is a lot of Google search here, and there is also a thing which I have found during my enumeration over here, which is Nginx misconfiguration. So after doing a lot of research, I was able to figure out like Nginx misconfiguration, and this is a very great blog post actually, Nginx misconfiguration middleware. And this is the post which is middleware everywhere, and a lots of misconfiguration from Detectify labs. Now this blog post actually explains everything easily. This is from Frans Rosen. So if I do this thing, it will try to explain that how these sort of things can be bypassed and we can exploit things. So in this thing, the our case is right over here like this, and we can, it is also showing me the Redis sort of thing as well. So this is the main thing. So location static, then we can, the first parameter which we will specify, it will be here, the second one will be here, and whatever we specify, it will come in $1 and $2. So for example, in this request, it is trying to explain that if we somehow try to do slash static slash Unix colon, and then we need to give the path of our Redis server. And I know the path of the Redis server from my source code. It is normally var somewhere, I think so. I just saw that here. So var run redis dot socket. So if I come back over here, where it was, yes, so Unix colon, then I will need to give the path of my socket, then test slash, and then that this JS file. So what happens is that it will do a get request over to this socket. So the socket will receive the information and it will try to do different things. So that's how actually it goes on. So let's try to see how it goes on. So if the socket is retrieving the information, what I can try to do is I can call the socket and I can pass it out that the hset parameter, and I will say hset the username of my, so my username is test, and then I will say hey pro is equal to true. That's what thing is in my mind using this all information. And I think so it will be trying to do this somewhere right here over here. If it is not, I can try to go to exploit nodes and I can say Redis, if I can find something using Redis pen testing. So we need to connect to Redis using Redis CLI-s, and we need to give the path. But right now this can be done only on local machine. So I'm using Nginx misconfiguration. So I need to find out, can I do something using that? These all are things when I'm connected. I am not interested in these all. And there you go. Exploit nodes is also having the same thing which I have just found right now in my machine. So the location dot static and resolver 127.0.0.1 proxy path, this thing, and it says we can connect to Redis socket using curl command. Okay, so the same thing which I was looking for, curl -x, it is hset. So we are setting something, and what we are setting, that we are setting that hey, my username should be professional. So let's see how it goes on. We need to edit this somehow. So let's come to my notes and let's see how it will become. So it will become something sort of app, or I think so it is micro blog, but no, it is not microblog. It is, I think so, test. But let's see which one I should go for, whether it should be this domain or the main domain. I have exactly no idea, but let's see. Test.microblog.html, then slash Unix, then it says slash path to Redis socket. So I will remove this right over here, and the part to this one is var run sock. So paste that path over here of my socket. Then I will try to do key, then field, then value, and then slash abc. So slash abc is the one which is going to in the second parameter, so I don't care about that one. Then I need to specify the key, I need to specify the field and the value. So the key will be normally in my case, let's see, my username, I believe, I don't know, but let's try. So if I say my username is test, the field which I want to edit is pro feature. So I will say I want to say pro, and I want to set its value to true, like this. And let's see if this works or no. But I'm assuming that let's try from microblog.html and let's try this curl. So first thing first, okay, we are having a lot of endpoints over here as well and here as well. The explore repos one was the one which actually gave me anything, and right here there are only login and logout. So what I can try to do is paste this command right over here, and let me confirm that whether my test domain is still active or it has been deleted. So if I come over here, refresh the page, oh, file not found. So my domain has been deleted. So definitely there is a cron job running out which is deleting my, so I need to register it again. So let's log out. I'm already logged out. So register again, test, 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 and test, register, done. And now I need to create a blog, test again, create. And now I will be going to visit the site is active, and edit it here. So let's do this thing. So we are calling the main domain, then we are calling this thing which we have found from exploit nodes. This is the path of my Redis socket, this is the username test, and we are setting the pro feature to true, and then the next part is going on. So hit enter, and fail to connect to the server microblog.html. I did https, so let me remove https. Now do it, and it says 404 not found. So let's come back and let's see whether we have become a pro user or no. Nothing interesting right over here. Let's see how we can become a pro, because pro users can only do that one. Do I need to encode the slashes of this socket as well? So let's try. So if I do slash, instead of slash I will do %2f. I believe it is %2f. So %2f, %2f, and %2f. Hit enter now. 404 not found. And if I refresh the page right over here, nothing. So let's see what is wrong. So microblog.html slash Nginx. Oh, there is one thing which I'm doing wrong. If I see my configuration, it is starting from slash static. So slash static should be right over here. So let's try now. So if I do slash static over here, slash Nginx now, enter, 502 bad gateway. Let's come back and refresh the page. Oh, and there you go. I am a professional user. So that's how actually this vulnerability arises with Nginx local misconfiguration. We can exploit these and we can read different sort of blog posts, especially this one. This explains really well. We can connect to the Redis server and we can try to set the values, and we are now a pro user. So this was the first part. Let's move backwards towards exploiting this somehow. Okay, so now I'm a pro user. If I can click on edit the site, let's see what happens. And there you go, we have our image functionality right over here as well. So the what I will be going to do is now I will going to upload an image, and let's try to see what happens in my Burpsuite. So I will click on select an image, then I will go into my home, and then I will go, I always have test images into my home directory so I can upload during my pen testing phase. So I just click on open, and I will click on upload, and it says image upload failed. And so let's see what happened in the background. So proxy history post. Let me sort it by time. So this is it. So now I need to figure out a way that how I can upload a file and try to get a reverse shell. I cannot see anything right over here. Nothing. So if I click on send, nothing again. So let's see the source code and let's see where the files are getting uploaded, or these are not getting uploaded. So I think so there is an uploads folder. So let's try. So if I try to go to uploads over here, nothing. If I try to go do this thing, uploads, nothing. If I try to do test my domain, so test dot microblog dot htb slash uploads, nothing. Oh, 403 forbidden. So after 403 forbidden, I can do test dot jpeg. I just misspelled it. Test dot jpeg, and in the URL http colon slash slash, not found. I think it was test dot jpg, not found. Okay, so right now I cannot do the thing in this way. So I need to figure out another way. And what I can try to do now is I am having a, let's try to see the code. And over here, what I can try to do is add a text. I am having ID parameter and text. It is going into dot dot slash content. Then it is trying to add a text and opening this. Okay, so it is whatever I'm passing in the ID parameter, it is opening it and then writing something in that way. So it is opening it in a write mode. So why not trying to do something sort of var www html and shell.php. So what it will do is it will, in var www html, it will create a file called shell.php it in write format, and it will write something in it. And what it will write, whatever I will provide it in text thing. But wait, then why they have given me the upload feature, image upload? That is strange. So I think so becoming a pro might not be required. But let's try this thing, because in the code I can directly see I'm having an ID parameter or a text. Oh, let's see the header one, ID and a header. Then ID, right here we can do it in write format, the file which we will provide, then writing in that file $html, and $html is this thing, whatever we are posting in the header field. And in here, okay, this one will not work, because whatever we are posting in the header field will work. So normally the header thing will work. So let's try to do it manually now. So if I try to try to do Google play with the header thing, if I do test over here, if I post section added, let's come to Burpsuite proxy, see this request, post request, ID and header. Let's send this request to repeater and send. Okay, so now what I will do is I will try to do /var www, but one thing, just to be confirmed, what is the path of this microblog site? Let's see if I can find it somewhere. Oh, it is var www microblog. So I will try to do it in var www slash microblog slash, then I will do, let's say, shell dot php. So header, I will try to do the payload. I can try to do that one, and let's see what happens. So if I do header is equal to, let's call it simply test. I would just want to confirm whether my shell.php is having a test keyword in it or no. So send 200. Okay. Now I will go into my main domain. Let's see. I think so it is app. Where was uploads? I think so it was in test dot uploads. So why not uploading it into uploads? So it is a test domain. So let's try to change this. So there will be definitely test in it, then there will be uploads in it, and then shell.php. This will work. Let's see. Then I will do uploads, or not uploads. It is definitely, let's see what it is. 403 forbidden. In uploads there is shell.php or no. Oh, there you go. So whatever we are putting in the header, it is writing into it and it is executing right over here. So the next step what I will do is getting a reverse shell. So shell.php is here. I will make it shell1.php, and in the reverse shell I will do it an easy one. And what I can do is I can do question mark php echo system, and then I will say dollar underscore get, and then a parameter called cmd. This should be in single quotes, then question mark, and that's all. Like this, and the question mark should be out. So semicolon, then question mark, and this. So wherever there are spaces I will do plus sign. So plus over here, plus over here, plus over here. Let's hit send. Done. Let's come back and I will click on shell1.php, and it doesn't show up. But if I do question mark cmd is equal to who am I, let's see if this works, and there you go, we have a command execution. So this is one way of doing this one. The other way is, rather doing this all, we can try to put a php directly, a reverse shell, which in this system function. Let's try to do this thing. So I need to put a reverse shell instead of cmd. So if I do, but no, that is called shell exec function, or I can try to do something sort of this. So if I do double quotes over here, and if I go to revshells.com, let's see if this works. Otherwise I will go with my own way to get a reverse shell. So 10.10.14.39 and port 443, and I normally like to use netcat mkfifo. This is the best one which I normally use. So paste it over here, and again URL encoding is required in a lot of places. So I will select this all, control U to URL encode, and hit send. Done. Now I need to start a listener over here. So let's start a listener. So netcat dash nvlp on 443. Listener is on. Let's come to the site and let's try to execute it. Shell1.php, I think so. And no. So these are the problems which I don't like about these sort of things. So let's control undo. And the other thing which I can try to do is, rather doing this thing, let's see whether we can try to move this thing somehow. So it will be php echo shell underscore exec, and then I will do round brackets, again double quotes, and paste the reverse shell in it. And now let's try to URL encode this thing, and now hit send. And let's try to run this payload again, shell1.php, come back to listener, and we have a reverse shell. So this worked actually. So if I type in who am I am www-data. So this was the initial foothold, but let's see, python-c, just stabilizing the shell quickly, import pty.spawn bin bash, and python not found. So I will try with python 3. So python 3 paste, and there you go. Now I need to do control z stdy raw minus echo semicolon foreground. I'm just stabilizing my shell. If you want, you can do just in the same way. Stdy, my rows are 30, my columns are 118, export term is equal to x term, xterm -256 color again and execute bin bash. Okay, now I'll start my enumeration. So cd into home first of all, or let's try with sudo privileges. So sudo -l, asking for a password. I don't have a password, so I will control c cd into ls-la right now, where I am, pwd var www. So coming out of here as well, ls-la into my slash directory. There are a lot of files. Nothing is looking interesting right now. So cd into home, ls-la. There are two users, Cooper and Git. So normally Git would be installed for git t, and there is a flag. So cat user.txt and permission denied. So I'm not having anything. So finding suid binaries, now find in the slash with the permissions of 4000 to greater than dev null, so I don't want to see any sort of error messages. So there is no suid binary as well. Then the next thing which I can do is, there was a Redis socket running as well, so I can try to connect to that as well. So if I do Redis CLI, press tab onto my keyboard, CL, oh, it does work. Redis CLI is installed. So -s for socket, and I need to see what was the path of the socket. So the path of the socket was var run redis.sock. So in this way I can connect with socket, and I can try to see a lot of things. So here I have connected to the socket. So if I am not having anything with this Redis, I can also try to see the commands. So the commands right here, what we can try to do is, we can try to see the info. So info is all of the things. Then there is a key space which is having a db0. Keys are 5 keys. So let's see how many keys are over there. So to get the keys, I can do keys static. So if I do keys static, enter, and there you go, we are having some keys. So test sites, that will be my domain which I have created. Test again, Cooper Duper and Cooper sites. So let's see what is in Cooper Duper. So to do that one, I think so I need to do type, then the key name, and it is hash. So how to get these things? Type in the key name hgetAll. Okay, so hgetAll, key name, enter, and we do have something. Username Cooper Duper, password Super Duper Cooper. Let's try. SSH was open onto this machine, so why not trying SSH? So if I do SSH Cooper at 10.10.11.213, yes, paste the password in, and we are logged in as Cooper. So we have a horizontal privilege escalation right over here which we can do. So ls cat user.txt, and half of our machine is done. Now let's try to see what we can do. Again, I will be going to follow my methodology, and what my methodology includes: sudo privileges, so sudo -l, then suid binaries, then cron jobs, linps, and all of the things. But right away, sudo -l is giving me that I can run user bin license with root user permissions. So that is good. This means that I can do something sort of this. So sudo, paste the binary path, enter, and I can run it. So my next thing will be like, whenever I see these sort of binaries, I always go to GTF obins. So I can close my ChatGPT. Let's go to GTF obins. And right here, I will simply say license, nothing. So GTF obins is not helping me out. It says I need to give -p for username. So the username, let's say root, and enter. User does not exist. Cooper Duper or Cooper, user does not exist. Cooper.duper, license key has already been provisioned for this user. Where I saw Cooper Duper, I saw normally in my Redis, I believe. Yes, Cooper.duper. So can I do test? Let's see. So test, Oh yes, I can. And I can see some plain text license key, and I can see encrypted license key, and I have exactly no idea what these are doing. So whenever these sort of things are done, we cannot find anything from GTFO bins, we cannot find anything from Google. These binaries are very strange. So the thing which we can try to do is analyze the binary. So how we can analyze the binary? The first thing which I always do is I perform a strings operation onto the binary to see what it is doing in the backend. And when I performed a string operation, I can directly see the whole source code. So it is written in Python 3, importing different libraries. Then there is a function class called license, and this is a parameter normally. Oh, sorry, parameterized constructor. And then it is saying if get EUID is not 0, just give this error message that this should be run as root. And this is talking about something sort of this. So if I directly run this user bin license, it will give me this error message because I'm not running it as root. But if I do something called sudo and then this, I will not get that error message because my effective user ID will be 0 in this case, but it will not be 0 in that case. So this is normally this thing. Then it is opening a keys section in the read mode. Then for all user keys in all keys, user key is split and args.provision, license key has already been provisioned. So if the user license key is present in this keys file, then it will say that hey, this user has been already provisioned. Okay, then we are having username is equal to r.hget and then hget. Okay, so it is normally getting the username from the Redis socket, but where it was connecting to Redis, I didn't saw in this script. Oh, here it is. Redis socket path is this. So it is connecting to socket. So normally it is retrieving the usernames from here. So test, Cooper duper, test. The other ones not interesting. Okay. So what we can do right over here. So it is getting the username, first and last name. Okay, and then license key is equal to prefix plus username plus this thing and dot format. Now whenever I see this line, I always say that there can be a format string vulnerability, as the name of the machine suggests, format string vulnerability. So what I will do is I will say format string vulnerability, and we can read different blog posts, different researches and those sort of things. Said what is format string vulnerabilities. The one which actually blog post when I first of all did a Google search, it is not here. I think so this is the one, the first one. I will switch off my Burpsuite. Yes, that's the one which actually is explaining format string vulnerability. What it can do is format string, how it works. I like then in curly braces, we can do anything and dot format and then Python and pizza. So what happens is it is embedding Python in the first curly brace, pizza in the second curly brace. So this is a very basic functionality of format string. But what we can do is we can try to do a lot of different things which like reading the API keys, just like here API config, right? So how we can do that one is that wherever we can inject something, we can try to add some malicious data. So coming downwards like here, so it is running a Python script, then it is doing in paragraph tag text, and this is wow such a string, and then in paragraph it is saying wow such a string, right? So what we can try to do here is instead of doing wow such string or in this curly braces, what we can try to do is this thing class name dot init underscore underscore, and then it will give something strange things. But if we try to do this thing, that will cause problems. It will show us some different variable names and those sort of things. And when we will inject self.init.globals and whatever are the functions or the attribute like API key or any other thing, we can call that. So self is in this case is the class name, and I know my class name is license. So normally what I can try to do with this blog post over here is that it is first of all getting the username from Redis. So if I come back over here, the best thing is that I have two sessions. So if I exit out from my www data, yeah, I can do that one. Exit out from here as well. Control C, my doesn't work. I will copy the password. Control Shift W, open a new tab and SSH into Cooper again. So just to make things much more easy, paste the password in, logged in. I will do redis -cli -s var run redis.sock connected. And now what I can do, I will say keys static, and these are the keys right now. So one thing which I can do is I need to specify username, last name, and first name. So there is username, then there is first name, there is last name. So what if I set these all things myself and put my payload over here? Let's see if that works. So to do that one, I will use hset, which is hash set, and it highlights it. So it says I need to give the key. Let's give a key called programmer boy. That will be the username. Then the field. So the field which I need to set actually is username. I will set all. Username. Then let's set the username to, let's say, test1. Now I exactly don't know which point is injectable, so I need to test it one by one. So let's try over here. So I will from this blog post, I will copy this injection point. I don't want config API key because this is for this example. So I will do this thing. Paste the value of this payload into this, and if I do self, and I will do license because I know that the class name is license, like this. So license.init.globals, like this. So username is set, and then I will do first name. Yeah, I can do that one. So let's do first dash name should be test1, and the last name should be test2, like this. And hit enter. Let's see what happens. So it says integer 3. Now when I will run this library or binary as root, and I will provide the username of programmer boy, what will happen is that it will try to execute this thing. This is known as format string vulnerability actually. So if I hit enter, and it says user does not exist. So if I try to do keys static again, oh, I think so it has been deleted. Let's try one more time. So it's set, username is this one, first name is this one, last name is this one, should work. Enter. And now if I do keys static, oh yes, it deleted my test username and all of the things, but now my programmer boy is here. So now I can run programmer boy, and I got an error called license. I think so license should be in small cases, I don't know, but let's try again. Let's see what happened. So if I do license small, enter now, integer 0. Let's do this thing again, programmer boy. Oh, it did worked. So now what happened actually, my command, all of my command works, and I can see all of the global variables and those sort of interesting things right over here. Now there a little bit of enumeration, or just we need to look at this output much more closely. But if we look at this much more closely, let's see whether we can find anything interesting. There is one thing which is interesting, which is secret, and I can see some sort of a password, and it says uncrackable password. So what is this? Is this the password for the root user? I don't know, but let's try. So if I do ssh root at 10.10.11.213, paste the password in, enter, and I am logged in as root user, and this was the box, so I can grab the root flag as well. So this is how actually this format string vulnerability works. So we just need to specify these is sort of things where we can inject and we can try to do a lot of things. The other thing, just to make this thing much more beautiful, I can copy the attribute value. So for example, there is a secret encoded, right? So secret encoded is having this password. So what I can do is, in my Redis, I will simply do the same thing again, come back, wait a minute. Yeah, right here, instead of this thing, I can pass that attribute like this, secret encoded, hit enter, it says integer 0. Now if I run that again, programmer boy, I am having much more in a beautiful format, and right here there is the password, and I can copy this password, and I can also do one more thing. So I can do sudo root, oh sorry, switch user to root, paste the password in, and I'm root here as well. So both of the ways SSH is working and this thing is working as well. And right here we can also grab the root flag, get root.txt, and we have the flag. So this was this complete box, a quite difficult one, but again we can learn a lot of things from here. So that was all about this video. I hope you will like it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.